We all have seen those pop-up ads that say you won't last 10 minutes playing this game and whatnot. It is highly advised not to click on such ads as they will pave the way for viruses to enter your system. I decided that I would quench my curiosity by checking it out. These poorly made ads. Little did I know that it would go so terribly wrong. I readjusted my glasses for what felt like the 100th time, as I pondered over a math problem. It was late at night, the clock confirming it by showing that it was almost 1 AM. I have a math exam in a few hours, and I still had a lot of material to revise. I closed my math notebook as I couldn't focus anymore. I looked towards the empty bed on my left. It was Jeffrey's, my roommate. He was probably on the roof taking a cigarette break from all the studying. We had rented a room in an apartment near the school, so that it saved us travel expenses. This was the last exam, and the thought of finally being able to enjoy summer break brought a smile on my face. I picked up my phone and decided to surf the internet until Jeffrey returned. I opened a shady-looking anime website, and a pop-up greeted me. "You won't last 10 minutes playing this game," was what it said. I had an ad blocker installed on my phone, and seeing a pop-up ad really surprised me. I closed the ad, but it kept popping up, no matter how many times I closed it. Frustrated, I simply closed the website and decided to watch some videos on YouTube to kill time. A video titled "Two Men Build a Pool in the Middle of a Jungle" caught my attention, and I opened it. I expected to see those poorly made game ads to play up before the video started, but no. It was the same ad as before. "You won't last 10 minutes playing this game." I was now getting annoyed by that ad, so I decided to check it out once and for all. I clicked on the ad, and it directed me to a blank website with a giant play button in the center. The name of the game was on the top, stating that it was called Finding Simon. Next to the button was an image of a blonde guy wearing a blue sweater, who I assumed was Simon. Knowing that this was probably a virus-infested website, but seeing the character next to the play button made me more curious about this weird game. I clicked on the button and the game booted up. A small pop-up showed up stating the game rules, that I needed to find Simon in a series of 5 images in order to win. An image of Simon was given. He was a blonde guy wearing a blue sweater and green pants, same as the one on the home screen before. He had this weird smile on his face, almost as if the artist wanted me to think Simon was a creep. Having read the rules, the game looked pretty straightforward. "Alright then, let's play your stupid game," I said to the screen. I pressed ready and a timer started on the top right corner, counting down from 1 minute. This was a super easy one. It was as if the game wanted me to find Simon. There were only a few people in this image, and Simon was standing in plain sight, next to a guy selling ice cream. Upon clicking Simon, a "You Found Me" pop-up showed on the screen, after which the second image loaded up. The image had the same base terrain as the previous one. However, this one was filled with people and obstacles. The timer started and it was for about 4 minutes. The difficulty went through the roof with this one. I could not find Simon at all for 3 minutes straight. It wasn't until the timer was almost up that his head slowly poked out from one of the corners. What a cheat of a game. However, something wasn't right. Simon's eyes were bloodshot, and he was staring directly at the ice cream man. He still had his weird smile on his face. I clicked on him just as the timer was about to finish, and a "You Found Me" pop-up showed up. I felt a bit creeped out by his sudden transformation. Once again, the same image loaded up as the previous. This time, Simon was clearly visible again. He was now standing next to the ice cream man, but this time, Simon was holding a knife in his hand. I clicked on him to prompt the next image. I was now completely sure that something was off about this game. The image loaded up and the true horror started. Simon was now stabbing the ice cream man from behind. All the people in this image were running away from him with fear on their faces. I quickly clicked on him and was directed to the next and final image. What I saw next sent chills down my spine. All the people in this image were dead. The entire ground was covered in blood, and in the center of the massacre stood Simon, with his ever-present smile. I clicked on him, just to finish this horrific game, but the game loaded another image. I clearly remembered that the rules stated that there would only be 5 images, but the image said otherwise. It was the same as the previous with everyone dead on the ground, but there was no Simon in this image. The timer at the top right had also disappeared. I quickly shut off my phone and threw it away from me. Sweat now coated my forehead. I just wanted to relax after an intense study session, and this just made matters worse. I rested my head on my pillow, trying to relax myself. But then, I heard a knock on the door. I looked towards the door in shock, completely unable to move. Who could be at the door this late into the night? "Dude, are you going to let me in or what?" asked a familiar voice. It was Jeffrey. Hearing his voice made me relax up. I was totally going crazy after playing that weird game. I got up and unlocked the door for him. Jeffrey was standing in the doorway, holding his throat. Blood was spraying out from a large cut on his throat. Jeffrey fell to the ground, his mouth desperately trying to form words, but no sound came out. He constantly looked to his left, but there was no one in the hallway. I couldn't understand how this had happened. Jeffrey just told me to open the door a few seconds ago, and now he was on the verge of death. I tried to help stop the bleeding, but the cut was too big. I quickly picked up my phone to call an ambulance. As I was about to dial in the number, I heard footsteps. I quickly turned around and saw a man standing in the doorway with the knife in his hand. Under the low light, I could see that he was wearing a blue sweater and green pants. His blonde hair had a dull shine under the hallway light. It was Simon from the game I just played, wearing his ever-present smile. He quickly walked up to me and slashed his knife at my neck. I was completely caught off guard by these turn of events, and fell to the ground holding my throat. The pain was so intense. I tried to call out for help, but no voice came out. I was losing a lot of blood and my vision was getting blurry. The clock on the wall in front of me caught my attention. The time showed 1:10 a.m. Exactly 10 minutes had passed since I started the game, and then everything went dark. I slowly opened my eyes, awoken by the constant beeping sound around. I was lying in bed and judging by the white sheets and white interior, I was in a hospital. I tried to get up, but my body wouldn't move. It was then the events of that night flooded my mind. I slowly raised my hand, which had a drop attached, to check my neck. Sure enough, it was heavily bandaged. I heard the door open to my left and a doctor came into my vision. "Thank God you're awake," he said. "You had us worried there, kid. That wound on your neck was pretty deep, and you lost a lot of blood. If it weren't for your neighbor's quick thinking, things would have been really bad." My mind was still foggy, but I couldn't recall any neighbor. Me and my friend were the only ones on that floor. I tried to ask the doctor who the person was, but no sound came out of my mouth. Please don't try to speak. Your throat is heavily damaged and any vibrations would delay the healing process. If you have the energy, you can write on this paper, said the doctor as he came up to me and held a piece of paper in front of me so that I could write. I could only scribble down, describe neighbor, as I didn't have much strength. I wanted to ask what happened to my friend, but I couldn't write anymore. Oh, he's a blonde man, and I believe he was wearing a blue sweater the day he brought you in. My eyes widened in shock as I realized the doctor was referring to Simon. He's a really nice person. He told me he left you a text on your phone hoping for your quick recovery. The doctor opened the drawer next to my bed and handed me my phone. I couldn't process what was happening. How does this Simon person know my cell phone number? I shakily unlocked my phone and sure enough there was a text message. But it wasn't any get well soon wish. It was a link with the heading, "You won't last 10 minutes playing this game. Don't believe it? Try it for yourself."